1. Which of the following best defines functional literacy in adult education? A. Ability to recite literature. B. Capacity to use reading and writing skills in daily tasks. C. Skill in academic prose analysis. D. Understanding of historical literary trends. 2. In evaluating a learner's reading comprehension, which method is most effective? A. Oral repetition. B. Multiple choice tests. C. Closed procedure. D. Copying paragraphs. 3. Which principle is most aligned with learner-centered curriculum development? A. Rote memorization. B. Adult learners choose their reading materials. C. Uniform texts for all levels. D. Timed reading drills. 4. A key characteristic of adult literacy learners is A. Limited life experiences. B. High school dropout status. C. Diverse motivations for learning. D. Lack of interest in digital literacy. 5. Which reading strategy enhances critical thinking in adult learners? A. Skimming only. B. Memorization of text. C. Question-answer relationships QAR. D. Silent reading without review. 6. Which of the following best demonstrates regulatory compliance in an adult literacy program? A. Avoiding assessments. B. Aligning with national content standards. C. Teaching only oral skills. D. Using outdated materials. 7. When mentoring a new adult literacy tutor, what is the most important skill to model? A. Grammar correction. B. Use of literary jargon. C. Active listening and guided questioning. D. Lecturing from a podium. 8. A reading passage that contains real-world content such as job applications is known as A. Narrative text. B. Fictional dialogue. C. Functional text. D. Poetic form. 9. What is the best way to assess vocabulary acquisition in adults? A. Weekly spelling bees. B. Word usage in authentic tasks. C. Long essays on word etymology. D. Matching synonyms only. 10. In designing a literacy assessment for adults, what should be the top priority? A. Length of the test. B. Complexity of vocabulary. C. Relevance to learners' goals. D. Amount of grammar tested. 11. Which best reflects an effective mentoring approach for adult literacy educators? A. Top-down instruction. B. Peer modeling and reflective feedback. C. Frequent standardized testing. D. Solitary lesson planning. 12. Text features like headings, bold print, and bullet points support which reading strategy? A. Inferencing. B. Summarizing. C. Text structure awareness. D. Phonemic awareness. 13. In curriculum development, what does scaffolding refer to? A. Creating barriers to advanced topics. B. Teaching alphabet letters only. C. Supporting learners with structured guidance. D. Repeating lessons indefinitely. 14. A learner struggling with decoding multisyllabic words likely needs support in A. Syntax development. B. Phonological awareness. C. Comprehension strategies. D. Cultural references. 15. Which document type would best develop real-world literacy skills? A. Sonnets. B. Epic poems. C. Safety manuals. D. Novels. 16. Which principle supports culturally responsive teaching in literacy? A. One-size-fits-all content. B. Inclusion of learners' cultural texts and contexts. C. English-only instruction. D. Avoidance of diverse topics. 17. What is a common barrier to reading proficiency among adult learners? A. Overexposure to formal texts. B. Lack of motivation. C. Prior familiarity with fiction. D. Excessive digital access. 18. To promote reading fluency, an instructor should A. Encourage timed silent reading. B. Use monotone read-alouds. C. Integrate repeated reading with expression. D. Focus only on spelling rules. 19. In the CASAS test, reading tasks often focus on A. Analyzing poetic structure. B. Responding to business-related texts. C. Diagramming sentences. D. Memorizing facts. 20. A valid literacy test should A. Be longer than 100 questions. B. Focus only on fiction. C. Reflect real-life language use. D. Use complex vocabulary to challenge adults. 21. What's a primary function of CASAS literacy assessments? A. Entertainment through reading. B. Academic achievement in literature. C. Evaluating readiness for employment and daily tasks. D. Testing historical literary knowledge. 22. Which is an example of a text that supports workplace literacy? A. Crossword puzzle. B. Employee handbook. C. Fictional story. D. Editorial column. 23. Effective literacy instruction for adults should A. Ignore learner goals. B. Focus on classic literature. C. Address immediate, practical reading needs. D. Limit learner participation. 24. Which technique promotes vocabulary retention? A. Word-for-word translation. B. Dictionary drills. C. Using new words in authentic contexts. D. Spelling-only practice. 25. A common strategy in adult literacy instruction for comprehension is A. Cold calling learners to read. B. Silent copying. C. Predicting text outcomes. D. Memorizing definitions. 26. CASAS reading test results help educators. A. Grade learners on literary creativity. B. Develop targeted instruction plans. C. Eliminate learners from programs. D. Promote learners automatically. 27. One benefit of peer mentoring in adult literacy programs is A. Limited feedback. B. Reduced program oversight. C. Collaborative learning and motivation. D. Competition among learners. 28. Workplace documents that require literacy include A. Song lyrics. B. Business contracts. C. Fiction stories. D. Novels. 29. Which method best develops inferential reading skills? A. Literal retelling. B. Text-based guessing games. C. Asking why and how questions about text. D. Repetitive word reading. 30. What is a benefit of including visual aids in literacy instruction? A. Confusing learners. B. Replacing text. C. Supporting comprehension of new vocabulary. D. Avoiding discussion. 31. Which best supports differentiated instruction in adult reading classrooms? A. Using the same article for all learners. B. Grouping learners by age. C. Adjusting materials based on learner reading levels. D. Focusing only on textbook content. 32. A mentor-teacher observes a new instructor skipping pre-reading activities. What feedback should be given? A. Avoid all activities except reading aloud. B. Replace reading with grammar drills. C. Include pre-reading to activate background knowledge. D. Use only standardized prompts. 33. To ensure reading tasks align with workplace demands, instructors should A. Use classic literature. B. Integrate job-related documents. C. Avoid real-world texts. D. Focus on word games. 34. What is the purpose of summarizing after reading? A. To restate main ideas in one's own words. B. To read text silently. C. To critique the author. D. To memorize all details. 35. Adults with low literacy benefit most from A. Fast-paced reading drills. B. Silent reading assessments only. C. Clear, contextual vocabulary instruction. D. Textbook-only instruction. 36. Which of the following represents an authentic reading task? A. Reading random words aloud. B. Analyzing a sonnet. C. Decoding nonsense syllables. D. Reading a prescription label. 37. In evaluating program effectiveness, instructors should A. Use learner feedback and literacy gains. B. Rely only on standardized tests. C. Measure only attendance. D. Review grammar knowledge. 38. A workplace memo is an example of A. Poetic structure. B. Narrative form. C. Functional workplace text. D. Academic essay. 39. To build reading fluency, which activity is most helpful? A. Copying definitions. B. Repeated oral readings. C. Reading unrelated words. D. Memorizing rules. 40. A lesson objective reads, learners will identify the main idea of a paragraph. What literacy skill is being developed? A. Vocabulary. B. Fluency. C. Comprehension. D. Grammar. 41. Which is the most effective method for teaching word meaning in context? A. Flashcard drilling. B. Dictionary copying. C. Context clue analysis. D. Word spelling only. 42. In adult education, formative assessment is used to A. Provide summative grades. B. Evaluate instructors only. C. Monitor progress and adjust instruction. D. Eliminate low-performing learners. 43. To meet regulatory compliance in literacy programs, educators should A. Use personal materials. B. Create unstructured lessons. C. Align with CASAS competencies. D. Skip evaluations. 44. When adapting text for ESL learners, instructors should A. Add complex vocabulary. B. Simplify language without changing meaning. C. Replace real text with made-up stories. D. Use only images. 45. The most effective way to reinforce new reading skills is through A. Isolated drills. B. Authentic text applications. C. Timed grammar tests. D. Phonetic spelling bees. 46. A learner reads slowly but accurately. The next instructional focus should be A. Vocabulary expansion. B. Decoding practice. C. Speed reading. D. Reading fluency. 47. In a multi-level class, one key strategy is A. Single-level grouping only. B. Ignoring lower-level learners. C. Using tiered reading activities. D. One-size-fits-all worksheets. 48. Why is learner goal setting important in literacy development? A. It increases dropout rates. B. It delays instruction. C. It motivates and personalizes learning. D. It limits outcomes. 49. An adult learner misunderstands a contract clause. The best instructional response is A. Ignore it. B. Teach text-specific comprehension strategies. C. Recommend a dictionary. D. Focus on another topic. 50. When teaching reading strategies, what's the best way to build independence? A. Provide continuous teacher support. B. Assign memorization tasks. C. Model strategies and let learners apply them. D. Skip strategy instruction. 51. When assessing reading comprehension, open-ended questions allow learners to A. Memorize answers. B. Choose random letters. C. Demonstrate deeper understanding. D. Copy sentences. 52. Which activity best supports adult learners in understanding informational text? A. Listening to music. B. Predicting content from headings. C. Completing puzzles. D. Drawing text illustrations. 53. Graphic organizers are most useful for A. Copying definitions. B. Memorizing grammar. C. Visualizing relationships in text. D. Reading poetry. 54. The best way to help learners retain reading skills is A. Isolated grammar instruction. B. Integrated, meaningful reading activities. C. Phonics-only lessons. D. Timed drills. 55. Texts used in literacy instruction should be A. Above learners' reading levels. B. Non-functional and poetic. C. Aligned with real-life needs. D. Written only for children. 56. When analyzing adult reading challenges, instructors should consider A. Past failures only. B. Learning disabilities, experiences, and goals. C. Speed of speech. D. Age group only. 57. A mentor advises a new teacher to include learner experiences in reading lessons. Why? A. It wastes class time. B. It makes content more relevant and engaging. C. It is not recommended in compliance. D. It distracts from text analysis. 58. One way to build reading confidence is A. Emphasizing errors. B. Avoiding feedback. C. Celebrating progress in fluency. D. Repeating assessments. 59. Instructors can build comprehension by teaching A. Literary devices only. B. Cite words exclusively. C. Questioning, summarizing, and clarifying strategies. D. Grammar memorization. 60. What is one advantage of CASAS reading score reports? A. They entertain learners. B. They eliminate the need for instruction. C. They guide instructional planning. D. They measure social skills. 61. The use of real menus in lesson supports. A. Grammar analysis. B. Vocabulary memorization. C. Practical literacy skills. D. Essay writing. 62. In adult literacy, self-assessment helps learners A. Avoid challenges. B. Reflect and take ownership of learning. C. Replace instructor evaluation. D. Memorize lessons. 63. Which best supports digital literacy in reading instruction? A. Ignoring technology. B. Using outdated print texts. C. Practicing reading with online resources. D. Avoiding visual content. 64. For a learner struggling with main ideas, instruction should include A. Copying details. B. Literal comprehension drills. C. Identifying topic sentences and summaries. D. Grammar worksheets. 65. Which factor best predicts reading success in adults? A. Reading motivation and engagement. B. Previous test scores. C. Accent strength. D. Speed of handwriting. 66. A key component of adult reading curriculum is A. Narrative fiction only. B. Functional literacy materials. C. Spelling bees. D. Story memorization. 67. Teaching paraphrasing helps learners A. Copy exactly. B. Misread text. C. Restate ideas in their own words. D. Translate word for word. 68. Which approach integrates reading with speaking and listening? A. Reading in silence. B. Grammar-only lessons. C. Interactive discussions about texts. D. Isolated vocabulary testing. 69. A workplace literacy program should include A. Shakespeare. B. Legal contracts, memos, and safety forms. C. Children's storybooks. D. Dictionary-only instruction. 70. The main purpose of a reading placement test is A. Eliminate weak learners. B. Grade learners on grammar. C. Identify learners' current skill levels. D. Compare learners to each other. 71. Which is a hallmark of effective adult literacy instruction? A. Prescriptive, identical lesson plans. B. Learner-driven, goal-focused content. C. Competitive grading. D. Complex academic vocabulary. 72. When learners track their own reading progress, it A. Creates confusion. B. Builds ownership and motivation. C. Is irrelevant to learning. D. Slows down instruction. 73. Effective reading assessments are A. Unpredictable. B. Culturally biased. C. Valid, reliable, and aligned with instruction. D. Only oral. 74. Text complexity should be A. Based on instructor preference. B. Above learner's current level. C. Gradually increased with support. D. Irrelevant. 75. Reading aloud helps. A. Only the teacher. B. Develop decoding and fluency. C. Avoid comprehension practice. D. Interrupt learning. 76. A goal of adult reading instruction is to A. Memorize classic literature. B. Prepare learners for real-world tasks. C. Avoid difficult topics. D. Use abstract texts. 77. Which is a regulatory expectation in federally funded literacy programs? A. Entertainment-based lessons. B. Focus on fiction only. C. Accountability and measurable outcomes. D. Volunteer-based grading. 78. Reading for specific details involves A. Skipping the text. B. Reading all chapters. C. Scanning and close reading. D. Listening to others. 79. Which text would best help a learner preparing for citizenship? A. Fiction novel. B. Civics brochure. C. Comic book. D. Poem. 80. A best practice in lesson planning includes A. Ignoring objectives. B. Setting vague goals. C. Aligning tasks with literacy outcomes. D. Using random text types. 81. Teaching multiple meanings of words supports A. Misreading. B. Orthography only. C. Vocabulary depth and comprehension. D. Phonics practice. 82. Reflective journaling after reading helps learners A. Avoid mistakes. B. Review grammar. C. Connect reading to personal experience. D. Memorize spelling. 83. Reading comprehension strategies should be A. Imposed uniformly. B. Modeled, practiced, and transferred. C. Avoided for beginners. D. Used for tests only. 84. Which activity promotes active reading? A. Listening passively. B. Copying text. C. Asking questions while reading. D. Skimming only. 85. Effective mentors for literacy instructors should A. Evaluate from a distance. B. Limit observation. C. Provide timely, constructive feedback. D. Avoid lesson modeling. 86. What does text-to-self connection refer to? A. Drawing pictures. B. Relating text to personal experiences. C. Guessing main ideas. D. Memorizing definitions. 87. Instruction using multiple formats: audio, text, visual supports. A. Only visual learners. B. Passive learning. C. Diverse learner needs and engagement. D. Word memorization. 88. What is the main benefit of integrating reading and writing instruction? A. Shorter lessons. B. Higher grammar scores. C. Reinforcing comprehension and expression. D. Avoiding complex texts. 89. One purpose of using leveled readers is A. Confusing learners. B. Providing inaccessible texts. C. Meeting learners where they are. D. Accelerating all learners equally. 90. Reading logs are effective for A. Evaluating spelling. B. Tracking text titles only. C. Promoting reading habits and reflection. D. Avoiding fluency issues. 91. Using learner-generated content in class supports. A. Grammar mistakes. B. Authentic engagement. C. Standardization. D. Isolated skill practice. 92. Which statement reflects adult learning theory in reading instruction? A. Adults learn best through lecture. B. Adults are passive recipients. C. Adults bring valuable experiences to learning. D. Adult learners prefer memorization. 93. An example of metacognitive reading strategy is A. Reading silently. B. Summarizing mentally. C. Monitoring comprehension while reading. D. Copying text. 94. Digital reading platforms help adult learners by A. Limiting reading to screens. B. Providing customizable, interactive content. C. Avoiding traditional books. D. Testing grammar. 95. Which of the following helps build decoding skills? A. Predicting plot. B. Phonics-based instruction. C. Summarizing articles. D. Silent reading only. 96. Which literacy task is most applicable to healthcare settings? A. Reading poems. B. Evaluating plot. C. Reading medical forms and prescriptions. D. Spelling diagnosis terms. 97. Teaching with real documents helps learners. A. Ignore formal grammar. B. Feel overwhelmed. C. Apply reading to real life. D. Focus on fiction. 98. What reading skill is used when comparing two advertisements? A. Identifying spelling. B. Visual memorization. C. Analyzing purpose and tone. D. Reading out loud. 99. Integrating reading with technology encourages. A. Fear of screens. B. Better handwriting. C. Digital literacy development. D. Avoidance of text. 100. Which is most critical in CASAS-aligned reading instruction? A. Classical themes. B. Test anxiety reduction. C. Practical, functional literacy. D. Character analysis. 101. Teaching learners to identify text structure supports. A. Decoding. B. Comprehension. C. Phonics. D. Oral reading. 102. Which of the following encourages fluency and motivation? A. Repetitive grammar tests. B. Oral drill exercises. C. Reader's theater. D. Timed essay writing. 103. Learners demonstrate text synthesis when they A. Highlight words. B. Define terms. C. Combine ideas from multiple texts. D. Rewrite passages. 104. Which factor most increases adult learner persistence? A. Strict discipline. B. Relevance and support. C. Fast pacing. D. Competitive grading. 105. A text-dependent question. A. Requires guessing. B. Is answered without reading. C. Must be answered using the text. D. Focuses on grammar rules. 106. What is the first step in a reading lesson? A. Assigning homework. B. Skipping warm-up. C. Activating prior knowledge. D. Reading aloud randomly. CASAS Reading and Language Test Literacy Skills. The CASAS Reading and Language Test Literacy Skills is a standardized assessment designed to evaluate foundational reading and language proficiency in adults. It measures essential literacy skills such as understanding written directions, locating information, interpreting workplace documents, identifying main ideas, making inferences, and using context clues. The test is widely used in adult education, workforce development, and literacy programs to support learning goals and guide instruction. Aligned with real-life and workplace scenarios, CASAS reading and language tests help assess readiness for employment, career training, and further education. Results offer reliable data for educators, employers, and agencies to track learner progress and design targeted support. Here are the top 5 beneficial uses of the sample exam. 1. Adult literacy improvement. The CASAS reading and language test helps identify gaps in fundamental reading and comprehension skills, enabling instructors to tailor literacy instruction for adult learners. 2. Workforce preparation. It evaluates an individual's ability to understand workplace-related materials such as memos, schedules, and instructions, making it an effective tool for job readiness programs. 3. Educational placement. The test assists educators and program administrators in placing learners at the correct instructional level, ensuring more effective and individualized education plans. 4. Progress monitoring. CASAS provides measurable data to track student progress over time, helping programs meet performance-based outcomes and funding requirements. 5. Compliance and accountability. It supports compliance with federal and state reporting requirements for adult education programs by offering standardized, valid, and reliable assessment data.